Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick and today guys we're talking XRP. We're talking actually quite a few different things, different aspects of news and of course price action, what we think is going on and what we think is going to happen next. Is there a victory almost in for Ripple and the SEC? Let's dive into that in a moment. As we get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe. Tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, the link is in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. So why not go ahead and check it out? And if you are looking for a little bit more from the crypto space, why not check out the Patreon services as well? We offer a lot more for the Patreon members via the Discord server, everything from what Chris and myself are buying, selling, and staking, what project reviews, AMAs twice weekly, trading, and a whole host of additional benefits. So if that sounds of interest to you, why not go ahead and check it out? Okay, guys, let's go ahead and jump on into this. Okay, we're going to start things off with this one here. Okay, almost victory in SEC case, and new quarter figures could drive XRP to $1 apparently. So, you know, who doesn't like a little bit of bullish news, right? And what we want to do is we want to understand what's inside this document in this particular article. Is there anything of interest in here, and does it relate to the price action? So let's go ahead and check it out. Okay, so as always, I like to do these things blind, and you can get my honest reaction to this because I haven't read it until I hit the record button. And so let's go ahead and take a look. Right, and do like to wing it here at Cheeky Crypto. Ripple's small win in NFTs and ODL could spell a gargantuan surge for XRP, with XRP's recovery over 50%. Being one among the largest across crypto currencies. SEC increasingly showing frailness. I think that's a word in the suit. Basically, they're not doing a great job at really doing doing themselves justice. Ironically, but essentially, let's just jump into this, right? So, yes, XRP has surged recently. We know about this. We've been talking about the price action, etc. So, in its latest Q3 report, which I have another article on, I'll have a look at that in a second. And we'll get into all of that kind of stuff there. But I want to kind of just focus in on NFTs down here. So Ripple has also been making inroads in the NFT space since Ripple Labs introduced XRP Ledger version 1.9, which brought NFT functionality, which is, it's pretty important. And in September, Ripple announced a $250 million creator fund to help creators bring their NFT projects to the market on the XRP Ledger. So already a list of 𝗕𝗓𝗄𝗃 names in the NFT world, like fashion powerhouse Balmain, metaverse platform 9level9, fan-focused Japanese NFT marketplace Antifi, and I don't think that's how you say it, but yeah. So NFT sports platform amongst others are building on the XRPL. So some pretty good stuff going on there. The same with the on-demand liquidity service has experienced growth, and so these are things that are really positive, right? The Hinman speech is the end of the Ripple case, ? Possibly. We don't know what's in there yet. At least I haven't been aware of what's in there yet, but there's a lot going on, right? These are kind of like small wins, right? Small little battles that might win the war. So things are looking pretty good for Ripple from a news point of view. Let's jump on into the next one, right? Which was all to do with the escrowed XRP, right? So in Q3, 3 billion XRP were released. So as we kind of come down here, I just want to kind of point out a couple of things, right? So straight off the bat, we've got 2.1 billion tokens that went back into escrow. Okay, so essentially they sold 0.9 billion, which is about 900 million, obviously, which is a pretty sizable amount, right? And so people sometimes think, that they're just selling on the community, etc. Now, they could have sold all 3 billion, like, say, 𝗕𝗓𝗪𝗧𝗕, who was just dumping on the market all the time until he ran out. 900 million, it's not too bad, and they do pay back more than they sell. These are pretty simple mathematics. So it's interesting, right? Because a lot of people say that they hold so much supply, it's centralized, and the node lists and all these other kind of things that people try to attack XRP with. We have to understand that different use cases require different things. You can't necessarily just assume that banks are going to be happy with decentralization. They want more centralized control over things and things like that. So understand the use case to understand whether or not decentralization versus centralization is actually required or not required. Now, I know that's a controversial subject to many. But one of the things I do want to kind of say is, yes, Ripple own a lot of XRP, but they're responsible with it. Okay, they aren't just dumping 3 billion on the market. They are only selling what they require to be sold. Okay, and 2.1 billion going back in, and therefore this escrow continues. So I found that interesting, but not as interesting as the next one, which is a huge milestone, as now it holds less than half the supply. Okay, so if we come down here, sold $300 million worth of XRP in Q3, and Ripple sold a total of 408 million in Q2 and 310 in Q3. So this is about the ODL solution and all those kind of things, right? So it basically claims that it continues to sell the tokens only in connection with the on-demand liquidity product. The ODL solution utilizes the token for seamless bridging to fiat currencies. So it's interesting, right? Because now they hold less than half the supply, and that is going to be a major milestone for them to hit. Now, obviously, it's going to continue to drop down. It's going to continue to kind of get out there. One of the things we have to understand about XRP is it requires massive amounts of liquidity for their on-demand liquidity service to actually work. So just bear in mind that, yeah, it's not going to be as clean cut as people may seem or want it to be. Okay, but there are several things here that are really interesting. One, obviously, we've got those Hinman emails finally across the line, and so interesting stuff there that I think is going to create the SEC to want to kind of come to terms through settlement, because if they do allow it to go to a judge, then they roll then those dice, right, whether or not they're going to come out favorably or not. So I think essentially what they're going to want to do is try to make sure that they come to terms and actually control the situation a bit more. So yeah, that's kind of where my mind is at on that. And obviously it's good to see that they continue to have escrowed XRP release, but then put back the majority of it, and obviously holding less than half the supply. These are all really, really good things. So there's a lot of good things I think to come when it comes to XRP. The question becomes, though, does this actually have positive impact on price movements? So what we're going to do is we're going to jump into the charts here. Now, this is the hourly chart. Now, I'm recording this about 12 hours in advance, right? So it's going to be interesting to see exactly how this kind of maps out, whether I'm going to be correct in my assumptions here or not. So let's just kind of recap where we were when we last did a video on this. We were looking at coming down to 45.53. This little sliver down here. We fell just short of this by coming down to 45.64. Okay, we then move up. We're expecting this to go somewhere between 47.22 and 47.47. Here you can see that we landed right inside here. We actually went slightly higher at 47.55, and then we start to consolidate into this little range. So let's tidy up these labels so we don't have to clutter up the chart anymore, and we understand where we were before. Also on this note, it's worth noting that we do have the channel here, or basically the higher highs and the higher lows. These unfortunately do tend to break to the downside, not to the upside. Okay, so they're kind of short-lived, bouncing between here, and then they break out down to the downside normally. So we keep an eye on those things. Now, this move to the upside is looking pretty good. We're right inside this resistance area. Okay, so we're fighting our way through. Let's take a look at the stocks. Yeah, we've got plenty of room to grow up here. So I think we've got some more moves to the upside to be had. On the 4 hour, we're high, so it's not going to be a huge move. 8 hours high. Daily is almost there. And okay, cool. So I think we're going to be possibly just moving up a fraction more. Let's see if we test that upper line in a second. Let's run some Elliott wave. Okay, so what we're going to do is we've got some basic principles to follow. We'll assume that this is looking, we've got a couple of options in here, to be fair. We can either go with a 5-wave move or a 3-wave move. I think I think because we're on the weekend, it's going to be 3, but I'm going to give you both scenarios nonetheless. Okay, so the first one is going to be this. We have a double bottom down here, and then you can see this 1-to-1 comes up on this area of 48.93. Okay, so I'm going to put a little pin label in there with the price and 93. Okay, now this would look like a really, really odd one, but it would be a count nonetheless that would look like this. It's going up in 3 like so. Okay, you can have these. It's just a little bit short on the B wave. I don't tend to like the shorter B wave moves. Okay, but this gets you right up there testing this upper area. Now, the sooner that this happens, the more likely it is that we're going to hit this trend line. But for now, 48.93 seems to be the most probable area, but it does depend whether or not we have to move back down a little bit lower before we go up higher. Okay, so that's your first count. Okay, I'm going to remove that. The second count is one that I don't really need to measure, because it would be that this is 5 waves like so. Okay, now this one I think is interesting. It could actually be the one that plays out. Okay, now if I take this measurement here, then I think we're going to move up over today, possibly just towards the 47.69 and 47.92. So let's go ahead and just pin these in. 69. And I'll drop this one in here at 92. Okay, remove that. And that would be our little 5th wave. Now, if we have that movement there, then we would correct down on the 4-hourly chart, for example, and then move up into a final 5th wave movement like this. Okay, so we still end up kind of moving up towards some kind of targeted range. But the difference will be that we would, let's say, take it from here to here, move this over to a theoretical low point. You can kind of see that we would potentially, and it all depends on where we correct down to, I guess, but still end up in that higher range up here somewhere. Okay, but it is subject to wherever this changes or drops down to. Okay, but essentially, I would look at that as a 535. I think I like this count a little bit more, just because I'm not confident that we have enough volume or enough momentum on the price to go straight to 48.93. It's possible though. We'll keep an eye on it. Seems to be making good progress now, and obviously by the time this video goes out, you'll know whether I was right or wrong about any of these. So it'll be interesting to kind of get your thoughts in the comments down below. But I think the 5th wave is the most likely scenario, but it does depend on how quickly that stochastic RSI moves and how high this price will push down. So 47.69 to 47.92, or we just go straight up to 48.93. And then obviously there's going to be a breakdown from both of those scenarios, and there should be 3 waves at minimum. Essentially though, we are very aware that this pattern is not a good one, so just bear that in mind. A breakdown from here is likely. And obviously, as we zoom back out, you can kind of see that we're doing a pretty good job at correcting down so far. I still think we've got a lot more room to come down in here. I would look at this thing as potentially a B wave over that entire structure there. And it might be that we progress up a little bit, but I would be concerned of a move like this, essentially. But, you know, we'll review how things are going and, you know, closer to the time and see how they kind of progress. But for now, there's some fantastic things going on with the SEC Ripple lawsuit. There's some fantastic things going on in the background with the actual use case that Ripple provides. So everything's coming up pretty good for XRP and Ripple. So guys, I'm going to leave it right there. If you found it useful and informative, hit the like button. I do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.